Before we get started on this video, let me go ahead and kind of preface it for you guys now. We're going to be talking about James Reimer and, of course, this little situation in San Jose with this certain type of night, seeing how we have another player who said, you know what, I'm not going to show up and actually wear the flag. Of course, that there being the P flag. We're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be discussing why it is that the NHL is not only alienating their fans here, but also alienating their pool of players that are coming in, especially international players. So make sure you guys stick around for the full video. Also, one more thing too, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. YouTube likes the like button on the algorithm, so that way it will shoot right on through. Make sure you guys do that, and let's go ahead and get ourselves a couple thousand likes in this video. Let's go ahead and get it out there. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and move forward. Here we go again.
Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mouse, forever let us hold our banner high, high, high.
Before we talk about a backup goaltender, who, by the way, was exercising his constitutional right to not take part in this, let me ask you guys a serious question, okay? Because it's a question that, quite frankly, I think that people need to be asking, and they're not asking enough. And it's not even about James Reimer. It's not even about him, or Reimer, however you want to pronounce it. It's not about that at all. I'll probably say Reimer, just to make it a little bit easier, because normally we have a name like that, you kind of sort of get a nickname. So I'll probably just call him Reimer for the rest of the video. If you're offended, I apologize about that. But if you know the actual proper pronunciation, put it in the comment section. And let's go ahead and get into this. So the thing is this right here. The reason why I'm asking this question is because doesn't Pride take place in the month of June? Seriously, I mean, doesn't it take place in the month of June? I mean, I'm asking the question because it seems to me like every time we turn around, an NHL team or an NHL franchise, as you might want to call it, is having a Pride Night celebration. Now, guys, we've already talked about the Philadelphia Flyers. We've already talked about Provorov saying no, and don't worry, we're going to be bringing that back up again because the NHL is not just the fans that they're pissing off, they're also alienating their players too. And last I checked, even though there's a pipeline of players that show up to the NHL, the vast majority of them come from countries that are not exactly down with the whole pride thing. Now, the thing is this right here. We also talked about the New York Rangers, and I want to say that the Islanders also said no to this bull crap as well. So, James Reimer, he decided to refuse to partake in the San Jose Sharks Pride Night. Now, the most, woke city in all of California is the city of San Francisco, and then LA is right behind it. I mean, you would say that LA would be because of Hollywood, but let's be honest, most of LA's bad ideas are coming from San Francisco, not so much from Hollywood itself. Hollywood's always had a lot of bad ideas. San Francisco is just adding more bad ideas to the pot. So San Jose, of course, you probably would think to yourself, would probably not be as bad. Maybe it might be a little bit more chill, but obviously we got to pander to 5% of the nation. So here's the deal. And by the way, and I've said this in previous videos before, that typically men and women who live a certain lifestyle, that lifestyle that the 5% live in, typically are not, engaged in sports. They typically do not care for sports. It's really, really weird why you would try to promote a certain lifestyle or promote something to a group that, quite frankly, does not watch your sport. But still, though, here it is. We are once again pissing off our fans, alienate them. And, of course, during this Pride Night, they decided to go through the entire ordeal. Their announce team decided to basically list statistics and whatnot on the lifestyle itself. Yeah, something that is very, very dumb, especially given the fact that they had a massive drawing that night of people who just showed up to watch the game. Now, guys, most people who watch an NHL game or most people who go to a sporting event, they don't know what the promotion is that day. So they don't really care. Just give me your ticket. Just let me buy the ticket. Hey, look, the ticket's on sale. I'll go ahead and go. I don't care what the promotion is. And San Jose, California, for all you know, you could be bringing in people from Oregon, Nevada, maybe Arizona, people who want to watch a game, okay? That's all they care about is watching a good old-fashioned game. So why are we upset about a backup goaltender who, by the way, also told the team when he signed with the team he would not be partaking in this? Why are we sicking the mob on him? I mean, I'm going to roll this clip right here for you guys, and then we're going to come back on the other side. But I just got to ask a question. Why are we doing this? Why are we continuing? Now, I understand that the entire team decided to partake. Okay, cool. That's your MO. Go ahead and piss off the fans. Go ahead and piss off the rest of the players. But You're singling out the backup goaltender of all people. Just go ahead and roll this, and we'll come back into this.
Have kind of altered that conversation. They've brought us here to real life. We'll discuss the bigger topic of tonight, and that is James Reimer, not a part of the warm-ups out there that you just saw. I would at least say that he and the team handled this situation pretty proactively in getting ahead of it, not letting it become a reactionary thing. But on the other side of it, are we looking at what could officially be called a protest tonight by James Reimer?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it is an active thing that he is doing by sitting out and not wearing the Pride jerseys. I think a lot of us are very disappointed. We were hoping that the whole team would show this act of solidarity and inclusion and acceptance. What's hard to watch happen, I think, right now is this sort of ripple effect. I'm really glad the team as a whole made the decision to go ahead and do this. I know that a lot of teams, including the New York Islanders, did not wear Pride jerseys at all.
Right.
So I'm glad, but I'm just seeing this happen over.
The girl there, Tara Sloan, she has got those pronouns in her bio on Twitter. Now, guys, I did a video a while back on why it is that mental illness and the left are so synonymous. You see, liberals have this tendency to kind of flaunt everything, okay? There's even political ideological tests, not tests, but studies that show that most conservatives and moderates typically tend not to express their beliefs out in open. This is normally because they want to be left the hell alone, so therefore they choose not to put their own personal beliefs on you. I know that might not be easy for a lot of you guys to believe, but there are actual honest-to-God studies out there. What I mean by you guys that believe, I'm talking about the liberals, the ones who do come in here and watch this channel. Normally they come here to ratio and rage in the comments, but oh well, screw them. Social justice warriors piss off. But here's the thing. Reimer is the backup goaltender. He also told you he was not going to partake in this little celebration, this little woke nonsense. He already told you he was not going to do that. So why make a big deal of it? Seriously, why make a big deal of it? He's just simply saying, hey, look, I'm just not going to play. They call it a boycott. Now, let me explain to you quick about a boycott. Boycotts are when you openly come out and say, look, I'm not going to do this. I'm no longer going to buy your product, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Reimer just simply sat inside the locker room. He simply sat inside the locker room. And by the way, the team already knew that he was not going to be partaking. Ownership already knew he was not going to be partaking. Basically, what ownership did was that they said, all right, look, to get you on the team, we'll sign you. Look, man, you ain't got to partake in this right here. We're not going to make a big deal out of it at all, yada, 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 yada. But obviously, San Jose Sports, their network for NBC, they wanted to make a big deal of it. Or maybe it was NBC Sports as a whole. I'm not entirely sure because obviously other teams have local NBC, ABC, Fox, CBS affiliates. Fact of the matter is that you're making a big deal out of a backup goaltender saying no. Now, let me say this really quick. When Kaepernick started protesting during the national anthem, one of the main defenses that we kept on hearing was that Colin Kaepernick, Mr. Cornrows, Mr. My Parents Are Racist, he chose to say that it was his constitutional right, and of course the media said it was his constitutional right, even though the league had put out a statement. The actual rule itself on the anthem requires you to stand. You would stand with your helmet in your hand. Oftentimes the NFL will allow people to do this number right here. It's okay. It's not that big of a deal. As long as you're standing, I don't think anybody really actually cares unless you're doing some type of BLM symbolism like Martellus Bennett used to do, piece of shit. Well, the thing is this right here. He had already notified the team. They already knew this, and guess what? This shouldn't be a big deal at all. The team already knew. They didn't really truly care. If they had actually cared, they probably would have cut him a long time ago, or else they would have probably found a different backup goaltender and not chose to sign him. You see, the reason why I'm going with this right here is because you're ostracizing a player that is not even, and like I said, I'm not saying this to insult Reimer. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm simply making a point. You are going out of your way to sing like a certain player. You see, in Philadelphia, when it came to Provorov, they did the exact same thing. The difference, however, is that head coach John Tortorella, he came out immediately after the game, and of course, he defended his player. That is what good coaches do. We haven't heard anything about the San Jose Sharks yet, but I'm pretty sure if they have an actual, honest-to-God good coach and a good franchise, they will come out and actually defend him. A while back, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays baseball team, they had like 5 or 6 players refuse to wear the Pride logo on their jerseys. Fact of the matter is this right here. These right here are men who have actual religious beliefs. They have actual religious, not just religious beliefs, but religious ways of life. And their way of life does not endorse the type of lifestyle that you are endorsing on Pride Night. Now, this is the problem. After a while, players are going to say, you know what, I just don't want to play in this league anymore because you're now promoting an ideology I do not agree with. Now, guys, earlier in this video, I touched on this, and I'm going to go ahead and break it down for you now, and this is where the video is going to end. The NHL is not exactly, while it is an American league per se, it is not full of American players, okay? And even a lot of those American players are not down with this. The NHL has got a lot of Eastern European players. They've got a lot of Scandinavian players. They've got a lot of Russian players. Well, guess what? That lifestyle is not endorsed in those countries, especially in Russia. You have a lot of people who are Russian Orthodox. You have a lot of people who are Christian. You have a lot of people who are Catholic. They are not happy with this. At some point in time, you're probably going to see a revolt against the franchises, which, by the way, if I were these guys, I probably would eventually stand up and say something as an overall collective unit, as an overall group. Just like I said before, now you're not just alienating your fan base, you're also alienating your players. I mean, dude, close to half of your overall talent pool comes from Eastern Europe and Russia. What's going to happen is that eventually they're just going to begin to say to hell with this, and they're probably going to start signing with teams that, who, by the way, who may be able to afford them or not. It doesn't matter. They're going to want to sign with teams that are quite frankly going to match their cultural beliefs. Next thing you know, you have a top-heavy league. Then you have a top-heavy fan base that doesn't want to show up and watch. You'll be losing all the, how do I say, the actual hardcore fans. And after a while, even the casual fans are going to walk away because they're not going to want to do anything about they're not going to want to spend money towards a certain cause they don't agree with. You see, now everything is about politics. You see, you don't watch sports for politics. You don't do that. You don't watch sports to be lectured. And I think the last thing people would want to do is pay $100 to $200 for a ticket to then turn right back around and have a certain lifestyle or a certain thing that they may or may not agree with thrown in their face. Yes, I know San Jose, California. Yes, I know California is a very blue place. But there are still a lot of conservatives out there. Last I checked, the last GOP nominee, the incumbent president, got right around 6.6 million votes in that state, which was almost a miracle given the actual makeup of that state itself as far as where they lean politically. Fact of the matter is that the NHL, coming off of what was a very good playoffs, they are now killing whatever games they have, and to make matters worse, you're now singling out a player who's just a good old-fashioned backup. Like I said before, not saying this to make fun of Reimer, but he is a backup, and I'm pretty sure that his salary as a whole is nowhere near the level of the stars of that team or that franchise. Really, I mean, what do you think his fellow players are going to say? What if Reimer is actually really good friends with players on the team? You got to wonder, are the players going to at some point in time, are they going to step up for this guy? I mean, because obviously the media is not doing that. The media is more interested in defaming him and throwing him under the bus. I mean, you got the people with the pronouns in their name now passing judgment on you. Guys, I did a video earlier tonight, which, by the way, will be out tomorrow at 5 o'clock to go along with this video right here, which will come out first, on how it is that you, quite frankly, can never do anything good enough for the leftist mob. They will always hold you to an extremely ridiculous standard. That standard, by the way, could be stopped. It could be, how do I say, put in its place if everybody would just jump up and actually stand up and say enough is enough. Now that right there, guys, I want to go ahead and end this video. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys share this video, sign up in the comment section. I'd love to get you guys' thoughts. And also one more thing, SJWs piss off.